In the dark shadows of the Iron Curtain, freedom had a price. And for Lutz Eigendorf, the price was death. To the East German regime, he was more than a defector. He was a symbol of betrayal, a humiliation, and perhaps a target. This is the story of a gifted footballer who crossed a border, found fame, and ended up wrapped around a tree in the middle of the night. A death that still echoes through the files of a long-dead secret police state. Born in 1956 in Brandenburg an der Havel, East Germany, Lutz Eigendorf was just another kid kicking around a ball through the grey streets of a tightly controlled state. But he was fast, skilled and smart on the pitch. At 8 years old, he joined BSG Motor Südbrandenburg, and by 14 he'd been selected for the elite children and youth sports school in Berlin, the same institution that churned out Olympic champions and national pride. There in 1970, he joined the youth academy of BFC Dynamo, a club run by the Stasi itself, East Germany's infamous state security service. From the start, Lutz's career was wrapped in the watchful eyes of a surveillance state. By 1974, he was playing professionally for BFC Dynamo. Over the next 5 years, he'd make 100 appearances in the DDR Oberliga, East Germany's top tier. He was young, confident, and dangerous, but for all the wrong reasons. In August 1978, Eigendorf made his debut for the East German national team. He made an immediate impact, scoring twice in his very first match against Bulgaria. He would go on to collect 6 caps, netting 3 goals for his country. But while Lutz wore the national jersey, he wasn't blind to what was happening around him. He saw how the Stasi controlled everything, even the game itself, and he began to dream of something different. March 1979 now, BFC Dynamo travelled to West Germany for a friendly against FC Kaiserslautern, a rare trip behind enemy lines. And the next day, as the team made a stop in the city of Gleißen, Lutz made his move. No money, no plan, just instinct. He jumped into a taxi and ordered the driver to take him back to Kaiserslautern. He didn't even know if they'd help him, but they did. He was granted asylum, but UEFA handed down a mandatory 1-year ban, so for 12 months Lutz waited, coaching Kaiserslautern's youth while East Germany boiled with rage. To the Stasi, his escape was personal and humiliating. BFC Dynamo wasn't just any club. It was Erich Mielke's club. Mielke, head of the Stasi and one of the most feared men in East Germany, considered Eigendorf's defection a personal betrayal, and he wanted revenge. Once eligible to play again, Eigendorf joined FC Kaiserslautern, making 32 appearances in the Bundesliga. He brought flair and grit to midfield, earning praise on and off the field. But he didn't just play football, he talked, openly, bluntly, criticising East Germany, denouncing the regime. He gave interviews in front of the Berlin Wall, draped in Western fashion, his sports car gleaming beside him. To the Stasi, it was a taunt, and they responded with cold precision. His wife, Gabriella, still in East Berlin with their daughter, was put under round-the-clock surveillance. Lawyers arranged a swift divorce. Then came the final insult. She was remarried to a Stasi Romeo agent, his codename Lothario. His mission: get close to Gabriella, watch her, manipulate her, all to keep pressure on the man who had betrayed them. By 1982, Lutz had transferred to Eintracht Braunschweig, a respected but modest West German club. He played 29 more Bundesliga matches, but an injury kept him on the bench during a March 5th, 1983 match against Bochum. That night, he went to a bar in Braunschweig called Cockpit. He had a few beers with his flight instructor. Witnesses said he was sober, relaxed, nothing unusual. But by 11 PM, Lutz was behind the wheel of his sports car, speeding through wet roads. Then, impact. His car wrapped violently around a tree. The autopsy revealed a blood alcohol level of 0.22%, triple the legal limit. But bar patrons were adamant he hadn't had more than 2 small beers. So where did the alcohol come from? There was no full autopsy, no forensic analysis of the scene. Only a mechanic was brought in to inspect the car. Some speculated the brakes had been tampered with. Others whispered about gunshots to the windshield. None of it was confirmed, but none of it was denied either. After reunification, the truth began to leak out. A note found in Eigendorf's Stasi file read, "Poison, gas, narcotics, Eigendorf." Another memo read, "Verblitzen Eigendorf," a Stasi term meaning to blind with light. It was a method of flashing drivers with blinding beams at night to cause fatal crashes. In 2010, a former Stasi agent testified that he had received a contract to kill Lutz Eigendorf. It was never officially carried out, but Lutz still ended up dead. His widow, Josephine, still insists it wasn't his manner to drink too much. Even Braunschweig's former prosecutor admitted, "We always suspected the Stasi might have been involved." But by the time prosecutors revisited the case in 2011, key Stasi files had mysteriously vanished. And to this day, thousands of sacks of shredded documents from East Germany's secret police archives remain unreconstructed. Somewhere in those silvers may lie the final answers. He was just 26 years old, a rising star, a father, a traitor to some, but a hero to many, many more. Lutz Eigendorf died fighting for the right to live free, and whether it was poison, a blinding flash of light, or state-engineered fear, someone made sure he wouldn't live long. The Cold War is over, but the truth still buried.